Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. Look out, the comet's coming. I'm gonna tell you right now, man. A code of ethics is needed when it comes to women's boxing. Boxing, period, but especially the ladies. I just think they're reaching a point where the conversation can't be ignored, man. And I have to ask, could a code of ethics help save boxing from itself? Now, for those of you who don't know, I know a lot of y'all do. Very, very intelligent people who come through the channel, who are on the channel. So I know y'all know what a code of ethics is, but for those who don't, a code of ethics is a written set of principles that explains what conduct is acceptable, what conduct is unacceptable, how people within an organization should treat others, how disputes should be handled, how reputation should be protected. And at its core, a code of ethics answers one question. How are we supposed to behave when nobody is forcing us to? So in simple terms, a code of ethics establishes professional boundaries, accountability, respect, integrity, responsibility. It's not just about punishment. It's about creating standards and holding people to those standards. Now, when it comes to these organizations, a lot of organizations create a code of ethics, man. Organizations create them for a lot of reasons, but because they know talent alone doesn't protect the business. It doesn't matter how good you are as a fighter, that's not going to protect the business. You know what I'm saying? They need to protect the brand, the employees, the leadership, the clients, the sponsors, the public trust. And when you look at what's going on here in women's boxing right now, I think a code of ethics is needed, but I know it's not all that easy. So it really falls on the promoters, because boxing is like the Wild Wild West. So many promoters, fighters align with different promoters. So if the promoter doesn't have any set standards, it is what it is. But I think it starts with the promoters right now. Establish a code of ethics for your organization and hold your people accountable. Because without standards, right, because that's what we're seeing. There's no standards. And that's why you watch some of these promotional platforms, they're becoming vulnerable to internal conflict, harassing behavior. I'm not making this shit up. Y'all out here may not follow boxing, y'all following the drama. Some of y'all follow boxing. Just think about the shit that's going on and has been going on. All their promotional platforms out here and the whole boxing fraternity that's become vulnerable to internal conflicts, harassing behavior, reputation damage. Have there been lawsuits, cease and desist, and different things that's taking place? And the public backlash where they're sitting back looking saying, oh man, women's boxing is all over the goddamn place. Women's boxing is no longer in the place it was when Layla Ali was fighting and Ann Wolf and them were fighting. Women's boxing is no longer in the place it was when Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano was sitting there, man, building up their 3 fights, and never once did they disrespect each other. You can't find one soundbite with Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano calling each other the B word, saying anything crazy. The only time it got a little bit chippy is just over the 3-minute rounds, and basically was Taylor saying, well, I'm the champ. That was it. Serrano didn't like it, but she was just like, whatever. But that was it. There's been no craziness. But you look at women's boxing right now. Any internal conflicts going on? Any external conflicts influencing the internal conflicts? Just look at internal conflicts going on within different organizations, different promotional platforms, and the reputation damage and the public backlash. So for me, it's like, why does this shit exist psychologically? You know what I mean? Now, with my background and a lot of you all's background, we come from a code of ethics. We know when we got to hold ourselves accountable. We know we got to say, okay, stop. I got the public's trust here. I can't go a certain direction. People who don't come from that background where they've had to deal with a code of ethics, they're just out here like the Wild Wild West. That's what they'll do and say anything. Because they don't have standards. They don't have any fucking standards. It's the truth. But you see, a code of ethics, what it does, it creates certain things. It creates predictability. People know what behavior is expected. If these different promoters establish a code of ethics and hold people accountable, people are going to know what's expected. And then if you got that person who's not doing what they're supposed to do, you got to find a way to get their attention and make an example of them in front of everyone. This shit ain't going to be tolerated. Because I'm telling y'all, the comments coming. Y'all think I'm joking? This shit with the ladies is just getting started. Y'all have no clue. They better get in front of this right now. Because when that comment, when that comment crashes, the impact will be felt by everyone. Everyone. Also, having a code of ethic, it creates emotional safety. Well, now you got all these boxes out here, and then a different organization, you say the workers and employees. Now people start to feel a bit more protected. Okay, we shouldn't have to worry about somebody saying this or doing that. We shouldn't feel threatened in any shape or form. And it creates some stability. It stabilizes things with the quickness. Less chaos inside the organization. Now this is boxing. There's going to be some chippiness. There's going to be some controversy. There's going to be a little bit of drama. But the chaos and all that shit has to stop, because from chaos comes more chaos. And then the personal attacks and different things coming out that I know about on some of these people, and I don't want to ever hear that shit come out. And I'm just telling you, if it got to me, I know it's over there in people's hands, and they're just waiting. So they need to act fast. Because I'll be honest with you, I don't like all that shit. I like some entertainment. I like a good laugh. I like a little bit of shit talk. But I don't like the chaos that I'm seeing. I don't like it. And that's why a code of ethics is also important, because it creates trust. People feel the organization stands for something. How many of us out here following boxing, right? When we look at these different promotional platforms, when we think about boxing as a whole and the commissions and different things, how many do we feel like, they stand for something? They stand for something. What promoter do you think about say, they stand for something? All of them want drama? I can't think of one that's basically telling their fighters, when you go to this conference, you wear a suit, you wear a tie, you will not be out here using profanity, you will not this, you will not that. I'm going to hold your ass accountable. This is not what we're going to do. We're going to represent ourselves like professionals. I don't know one. If so, y'all tell me something, because I don't know one. And I was even thinking, all right, we know about boxing, but what women's sport use ethical standards? Is there a sport? But I tell you what, I realized after doing a little research, right? Because I don't be on the internet like that. I said, let me take time. If I'm going to talk about this, let me look at it. Many women's sports already operate under an ethics system. Basketball, the WNBA. Players got to follow conduct policies, media policies, workplace standards, harassment policies. They ain't messing around with them. Soccer, FIFA, and national federations. They enforce respect rules, anti-discrimination, social media conduct, integrity standards. Tennis, the WTA uses professional conduct guidelines, athlete behavior expectations, media conduct standards. Boxing don't have that shit. MMA and the UFC athletes are subject to promotional standards, conduct clauses, drug testing policies, public behavior expectations. What's the issue? Why doesn't boxing have one unified code? Well, it becomes a little complicated. Boxing is different because boxing is fragmented. That's why I say it really starts with the promoters. There's no single authority over the entire sport. All right? Instead, like I said, you got multiple promoters, multiple sanctioning bodies, state commissions, international commissions, independent managers, somebody taking their girlfriend to get an extra slice of cheese on the burger if she treats them nice. I mean, you got all kind of shit going on. And there are different powers when it comes to boxing, and different power centers in boxing. You can just sit back and take a look at these power centers. Top Rank, they kind of do what they want. Matchroom, they do what they want. Golden Boy, do what they want. or what's it called, PBC, do what they want. Then the sanctioning bodies, WBC, WBA, IBF, WBO. Everyone operates differently. So you know what that means? No one controls everyone. This Zuffa may be a damn good deal if they could come and take control over the whole sport of boxing. And that would tone down all this bullshit. Because there's some personal stuff. Let me tell you, the comet's coming. Y'all think I'm joking? I ain't just out here taking bullshit, regurgitating it to y'all for no. When I hear certain things, I'm like, that's all bullshit. I'm telling you, there's something right here that's being talked about right now is all bullshit. It's just bullshit for clicks. But I got some shit here, man, and I'm like, that don't need to come out. And a lot of these cats be out here talking, they don't even know, they ain't in the boxing like that. They into the drama. If they had that shit, that shit would have been out here. But if that come out, it won't come from me. Because I don't want nothing to do with that. But it just goes to show that women's boxing is highlighting the problem, man. Women's boxing is growing rapidly. The shit is just exploding. The growth has brought a lot of good, man. More money, everything. Great things happening for women's boxing, but it's also brought more attention, right? The money I'm talking about. Interviews, visibility. There's a lot. Women's boxing is on the map. But it's also brought more public disputes, personal attacks, social media attacks, social media conflict, social media drama, crossover drama. I mean, it's buck wild right now. And, I'm noticing. And I know how it is to get caught up in the drama and then snap out of it and pull yourself out and be more structured in how you want to go forward. But other people out here, they don't care. The more drama, the better to them. Matter of fact, they lie. They just make up shit and lie. And people can't wait to click and eat that shit up. But I am telling you, I'm noticing, and I ain't the only one noticing. Some people are scared to say it because they want their viewers, their subscribers, they want their clicks. They can't come out and go against the majority because the people on the internet would flip on your ass. Nope. You ain't saying what they want to hear. They up out here. They go elsewhere where they can hear what they want to hear. Everybody know with me, I don't give a fuck. But I'm just telling you this. I've had people talk to me. Y'all know I don't talk to nobody. But I've had people talk to me. And they feel that women's boxing has become filled with a bunch of things, but they're afraid to say it. Because they're like, well, if I come out and attach a name to these things, oh my God, nobody's gonna want to watch my videos. I'm like, that's crazy that you're afraid to say something. I don't know. I guess because I just get out here doing my videos and I'm in the breeze. I don't be thinking about it like that. But I'll tell you what I see a bunch of gossip. I see a bunch of rivalries, public call-outs, emotional conflict, drama. And some of that can sell fights. But I see a lot of instability too. And I think it's too much of the bullshit going on right now. Because it's the personal attack. If you want to talk about, well, she can't fight and she can't this and that, and I'll whip her ass. Nobody cares about that. It's the personal shit. The personal stuff. You may say, well, damn, Hood, what do you know? I ain't getting into that. There needs to be a code of ethics. Because all this drama that's going on, it can sell fights, got everybody watching women's boxing, but it creates instability. And I think this matters when you think about how it affects people mentally. You see, when athletes constantly operate in public conflict, it can create emotional exhaustion. And this is for everybody. It can create emotional exhaustion. Constant tension drains energy. There are people out here who feel like they have the upper hand in online conflict. But if somebody were to decide to engage them and hit them with facts, not the drama and bullshit, the facts about them that they know, these motherfuckers would have emotional exhaustion. They'd be crying. That's why you should leave people alone. Shut up, leave people alone. And for these female fighters, they just gotta be fighters, talk your trash, but be careful how far you go with it, with personal attacks. because then people start looking and digging on your ass. And what happens is fighters out here, there's distrust. You know what I'm saying? It's just me against the world. Ain't no friends in boxing. Ain't no this. It's just me against the world. And I don't care and this and that. And nobody really care about nothing. The distrust. You've heard people say that. I ain't making that up. So I'm like, okay, this one's emotionally exhausted. This one is showing signs of distrust. And that's created division. Instead of growing together, they're separating. They're fragmenting. Not good either. They're just drifting apart. And that's where the personal attacks start. And then you have identity damage. And that's why I'm sitting here talking. I'm like, nah. You know, I don't care what you say. For anyone out there, it don't matter who it is. I don't think anyone should have to deal with that. Why would somebody want to intentionally try to destroy someone's identity just because of something that you don't like, especially with lying? For a person to do that, you got to get away from them. They're a toxic, miserable ass. And they'll do it to you. But as a result of all this shit, emotional exhaustion, distrust, division, identity damage, the sport's looking chaotic right now. Women's boxing looking chaotic. And I'm going to say this. There's no face of women's boxing. Layla Ali's the face. All this shit about who's going that direction, there is none. It's over. It's over. It's still Layla Ali, Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano. That's it. There is nobody else. I'm just being real. There is nobody else. But people can come and they can get dressed with the quickness, straighten up. But I think a code of ethics could really help that. But it's up to the promoters because boxing's so fragmented. And you know what that could do for boxing, man? That shit could create professional boundaries. Fighters can still promote, sell fights. They can be competitive. That's what we want. That's what we expect. But avoid the harassment. Avoid the threats. The personal cruelty. Stop that. Code of ethics could protect female athletes. Women's boxing especially could benefit because it will help reduce the bullying, smear campaigns, personal targeting, destructive behavior. Women have it hard enough in this world. All women. Y'all have it hard enough. I know you do. That's why, I'm very particular about, what I say. I still do my videos and I'll... But yeah, there's a noticeable difference in how I speak because I know more than most people out here. And it's like, nah, I'm still going to be me and talk about different things I see and don't agree with. You know what I'm saying? And the people I'm talking about, they may not give a fuck. They may just be out here not caring what they say, but I'm just telling you. If I was to sit here and open up the floodgates, it'd be all bad. I just can't do that. Because females have it hard. Women have it hard. All women. And of course, you start talking about the minorities and stuff, but everyone know I ain't about race on my channel. But I understand minorities have it hard. Minorities have it hard. That's why, man, a lot of these female athletes need to be protected. And I think women's boxing especially could benefit because it would help reduce that shit I talked about, bullying, smear campaigns, personal targeting, destructive behavior, guys seeing women just as, sexual objects. Like, that's what we're dealing with, people. That's the reality. I'm not making that up. And I think if we get control of all that, this stuff we talk about, well, there ain't no money in women's boxing. No sponsors want to be part of the women. Nobody wants to come and endorse the women. Well, that will give sponsors confidence to come and get involved. Brands want stability. Ethics policies make sponsors feel safer investing. So since boxing isn't under one umbrella, it's fragmented, it's on the promoters. If they really cared about their fighters, they would have established a code of ethics and push it all up in their mouth. All up in their mouth. Shut up. It is what it is. Follow this code of ethics. If not, adios. We don't want you. Go over there where you can be caught up in the Wild Wild West. We're going to focus on these here, and we're going to lead them to the pot of gold. Follow the rainbow. And a code of ethics can do that. You know what I'm saying? So you get sponsor confidence, and promoters will benefit. Big time. Promoters aren't just selling fights, they're selling personalities, they're selling narratives, reputations. And they know there's going to be some controversy, a little bit of drama, rivalries, they get it, but the drama becomes harmful. I think it's at a point to where the drama is becoming very harmful. Very harmful. And as a result, promoters can lose money, they can lose partnerships, they can lose opportunities, and a code of ethics protects their investment. Now, I'm not saying that opportunities won't still be there. I just think there's more of a risk of you losing it. And fighters will benefit big time because fighters could gain protection from abuse and misconduct. They could gain fairness, equal treatment standards, not feeling like, oh, they're only favoring this one female. What about the 100 of us? Oh, they're only favoring her. What about us? No one talks about us. We're over here. We're supposed to be promoted too. Hold on, I'm signed to them too. I'm fighting this individual. How come they're not talking about me? Because there's no code of ethics. There's no fairness. But you have a code of ethics. Now you're talking about protection, fairness, longevity, less inflicted damage. Talking about better opportunities, cleaner image equals bigger endorsements. I've been talking about that. Cleaner image equals bigger endorsements. Trashy image, dirty image, you're not getting anything. And if so, it'll be low-hanging fruit like I always talk about. Y'all know how I come out here and have my way of saying things. We want to get up in that tree and snatch that juicy mango up out of there. That's what her champion wants. I want that damn Pumarak. I want that chunnet over there. You know what I'm saying? Cleaner image, bigger endorsements. So who should create it? This is the hard part. State athletic commissions is an option. Nevada State Athletic Commission, they already regulate safety, license, and discipline, but they only govern locally. Sanctioning bodies, the WBC, WBA, IBF, WBO, they could create and share a standard. Problem is politics, and they don't even really get along. Promoters individually, each promoter could create internal standards. The problem is no consistency. You know what I'm saying? Collective industry agreement, promoters and commissions and sanctioning bodies together is the best option, but that's extremely difficult. Extremely difficult to get all of them, promoters, commissions, sanctioning bodies on the same accord. That's hard. So you say, all right, we get it, but where do we stop? I think the first step may be simple. Just start with those 4 things. Social media, conduct rules, interview professionalism standards, anti-harassment policy, and conflict resolution process. That right there would be a changing culture, man. You know, that would take care of 95% of the bullshit. Because when you just talk about the social media, the interviews, the harassment, the conflict shit, I mean, you need to have those things in place, and that takes care of 95% of the bullshit as long as people adhere to your code of ethics. But the bigger issue, and this is bigger than women's boxing, it's about whether boxing wants to become more professional. Or do they want to remain permanently chaotic? And as long as they remain permanently chaotic, we're not going to ever see these women make the kind of money that all the women really should be making based on their sacrifices, their hard work, their dedication, you know what I'm saying, their commitment to their craft, because of the bullshit. So I just want to make this clear. A code of ethics would not remove competition. There's going to be competition. There's going to be competitive energy. It's going to be a little bit of drama. It's going to be a little bit of controversy. But it's manageable and it's expected. It won't remove personalities and it won't remove rivalries. But what it does is it simply creates accountability. And that is what the sport's missing. And in a sport where emotion can become destruction, that may be exactly what boxing needs. A code of ethics. Anyway, y'all keep cool. I got things to do. A comet's coming. Y'all watch. Everybody's going to be saying the same thing I'm saying right now. You just watch how this shit plays out. I'm telling you it's coming. And I ain't going to tell you what I know. But I'm telling you. They better sort this shit out with the quickness because it's about to get out of control. And there's some things going to come out that people can't take back. And then when that comes out, someone else, domino effect. That's going to be part 4, the domino effect. Keep cool, I'm in the breeze.